Hello friends, welcome to or back to my channel. My name's Haley and today we're going to be filming my end of the year TBR. So first things first, excuse the mess of my living room. I didn't feel like cleaning it up, but I felt like filming here because of the light. So that is that. Just ignore the background. I always like run around like a crazy person before I film videos, like getting books and stuff, and then I'm like so winded and I don't take time to like actually breathe, and so then I'm just like out of breath. But anyways, here we are doing my end of the year TBR. When I'm filming this, it's already like halfway through November and there's a lot of freaking books. Okay, so realistically, am I gonna read all of these books? Absolutely not. Can I continue to be delusional and think that I am gonna read all of these books? Also yes. So I have two main categories of books that I would like to read for the end of the year, and they are one, my book of the month books to finish my book of the month reading challenge, and two, my 24 to read in 2024. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the book of the month challenge, and the book of the month challenge definitely changed this year, and I think it's a little bit ridiculous, I'm not going to lie, but the prize is this hat that says reading is sexy. I'll put a picture right here, and I want it, okay? It's actually more of a need, and I think that I will lie to accomplish this if I don't read all of these. However, I think I can do it. So the challenges are as follows. So the main first challenge is you have to read 15 books, which if you're tracking, right, book of the month, it's one per month. There's 12 months. So already, first of all, they're expecting you to buy more than one book per month, which is a little bit insane. And then underneath of that, there are 6 other little mini challenges, and you have to complete 3 of the 6. Some of the challenges are only for audiobooks, and if you're anything like me and you refuse to pay for audiobooks, those challenges are automatically out of the window. So I had to find 3 of these challenges that I could accomplish. And so the 3 challenges that I went for were 1, Write Up Wizard, where you had to give 5 reviews for 5 different books. 2, the Genre Genie, I believe, and you have to read 5 different genres, I want to say. I think it's 5 different genres. And then the last one is Debut Darling, and you have to read different debuts. And I think you have to read 5 debuts. Now that I think about it, I actually think the genre one is 6. But anywho, I will have put that information on the screen. So right now I have 8 books left for the overall challenge. So I've read 7, and I definitely need some more debuts, and I definitely need 1 or 2 more genres. And for the reading challenge, you can use books you've bought this year or the previous year. And I do buy a lot of books on Book of the Month. I do get a lot of add-ons, so the 15 book thing is not an issue for me. I just think it's kind of a little bit ridiculous. If you are not like me and you just want to get 1 book per month, you like literally cannot do the challenge. So for the challenge, you can use, again, like I think I just said, you can use books from this year or the previous year. So I have pulled 10 possible books that I could read for these 8 that I have remaining. So I gave myself a little bit of wiggle room, but these are like the 10 that I want to focus on. And within these 10, I can definitely accomplish my debut goal and my different genre goals. So the first one that I have is The Helsinki Affair, and in Book of the Month, this is a spy thriller, and this one, I really don't remember what it's about, but it did sound good at the time, and so I could definitely get that extra genre with the spy thriller. Then the next one is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is 100% not a debut. I got this one this year. And this is under the romance category. I do believe I've already read one under the romance category, so that would not add a new genre for me, but this is one that I am really interested in. I've read almost all of Ali Hazelwood's books. I know this one is a little bit different than some of her other books, but I am very excited to check this one out. Next, I have The Collected Regrets of Clover, and this is about a girl who's kindergarten teacher dies, and then ever since then she's kind of like obsessed with death. For genre, this is considered contemporary fiction, which I do already have, but this is also a debut, so this could definitely help for debut. Next, I have Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austin. This is just kind of like a weird book. I read the book by her, Everybody in This Room Will Someday Die, and it's just kind of like weird character-driven, like exploratory fiction where they're just like the characters kind of like exploring themselves and things that they're interested in. And this is not a debut, and this is also considered contemporary fiction. The next book is Tomb Sweeping by Alexandra Chang, and this is short stories. And honestly, I don't think I've ever read a short story collection, so I'm definitely interested in picking up this one. And I don't think this is a debut, but yes, this is just short stories. This is also a pretty short one, so it should be easy to read. Next, we have The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. I have talked about this book a million times. I want to read it. It's considered literary fiction. I don't know if it's a debut. So the thing is that she doesn't actually have a husband, but the husband, whenever it does go up into the attic, it changes. I've started this one. I gotta finish it. The next one is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, and this is, I believe, about this author who has written this series, and then like there's like some people that are obsessed with it, and they go out to this island and they try to like win the last book or something. I don't know, that could be completely wrong, but this is considered contemporary fiction as well, and this is another debut. Ma'am by Jessica George. I have no idea what this one is about. This one is also considered contemporary fiction, and I think this is a debut. And then Marlena by Julie Bunton is definitely a debut. This is considered literary fiction, and I think this is just about this girl who's kind of like a whirlwind of a character, and she kind of like wrecks other people's lives, but also is like important to their lives. I don't really know, but that is that one. The other one that I have is Shark Heart, a love story, and this is a debut, I believe. I already started reading this one a tiny bit. This one is about this couple. The main character is a female, and her husband that they just got married, he is going to turn into a great white shark. And it sounds very silly, but I think it's a rather serious book, and it's kind of like a metaphor of losing people to other like illnesses, things that they cannot recover from. So I've started this one. So those are my book of the month books that I have. So hopefully I can get to at least 8 of those and finish my reading goal. I would love to read these physically, but I do think I will probably end up listening to a few of them on audio, and same goes for the other books that I am about to mention. So the next set of books is the 24 to read in 2024, and I will put up my graphic right here. These are the 24 books that I have picked, and these are all books that I own physically that I have not read before now, and I would have liked to have read this year. And I read a few throughout the year, but I really have not read many. So now I'm going to change it to the books that I have read. I have read 7 of these books, and as you can see, I put the X over Bloodmarked. I will not be reading this book this year because this is the second book in the Legendborn series, and I found out this year that the Legendborn series is going to be a 4-book series, which I am thrilled about because I love this series. However, these books take about 2.5 to 3 years to come out, which again, nothing wrong with that. I would love the author to take her time and write beautiful books for us. But this is a book where there are a lot of characters and there's a lot of intricate details that you need to be familiar with. And I've already read Legendborn 3 times. The first time just because I was like, oh, I'm so excited to read this. And then the second 2 times I read in preparation for reading the second book, and then I never picked it up. And the third book is coming out in March of 2025, and then the 4th book probably will not come out until 2027 or 2028. And so I just do not want to continue reading these very large books over and over and over again. I would like to just read them and soak them all in. So I'm going to be postponing Bloodmarked until the rest of the series is out. So I will not be picking up these books probably for like 4 or 5 years, which sounds really crazy to say, but I'm sure it will come way faster than I think. So that narrows this down to 23 books to read in 2024. I have read 7, and so we have 16 books left to talk about. So let's talk about the other 16 books that I hope to get to before the end of 2024. So the first one is Reign by Katharine McGee. This is the 4th and final book in the American Royal series. I love this series. I've reread them so many times, and I just have not picked this one up. I'm very excited, and if you've read this series, you know the 3rd book leaves on a massive cliffhanger, but I think that I just don't want this series to be over, and so I have been postponing this one. But this is genuinely a book that I'm so excited for, and I cannot wait to read. I've heard it has a very good wrap-up to the series. It has very satisfying endings for all of the characters, so I am really thrilled to read this one. I don't want the series to be over because I love it so much. But I can always reread it, and I'm a huge rereader, so it's okay. Next, we have A Scatter of Light by Malinda Lo, and Malinda Lo is the author of Last Night at the Telegraph Club, which I absolutely loved. That was like a YA historical fiction set in the 40s or 50s after World War II, and this is a more contemporary fiction, but I do feel like it has some sort of connection to that first book. I love this book. I think this is like a special cover. It is beautiful, and I can't wait to read it. I don't know why I said I love this book. I meant to say I love the way this book looks. Next is Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan, and this is a standalone book, something about some underwater school. I don't think they're mermaids, but maybe there's mermaids. And I got a signed copy when this first came out a few years ago. And I am trying to read all of Rick Riordan's books, and so this is just an easy little standalone. And it's still middle grade, so it should be super fast read. Next is Loveless by Alice Oseman. This is one of Alice Oseman's full-length novels. I believe she has 4, and this is about a girl who goes to college, and she kind of starts to learn about asexuality, and I believe that she starts to identify as that, but she had not previously known about it. That is my understanding. I could be wrong, but I definitely know it has asexuality representation in it, and I do know she is in college. Also, these covers are so adorable. I love the shiny, I love the drawing, I love the illustration style. This is the second set of covers. Their first set of books had just different kind of ugly covers, but these ones are so cute. I have the other books as well. Next is Chemistry, and this is a short book about a student who is in college who is majoring in chemistry because their parents want them to, but they don't actually want to. And I think that's just an interesting concept. As a chemistry major myself, I think this will be interesting. Next, we have Killers of a Certain Age, and this year I have been loving my old lady, old person main character mystery thriller books. So that's exactly what this is. This is about old ladies who are killers, I'm pretty sure, and it sounds amazing. I've been wanting to read it since it came out, but again, of course I haven't, or it wouldn't be on this list, right? Next is The Miseducation of Cameron Post, and this is about a girl, Cameron Post, who is not living with her parents for some reason or another. I believe it's her grandparents. Yeah, so it's her grandmother and her aunt, and I believe that Cameron is a lesbian and her family tries to send her to like conversion therapy or something like that. It seems emotional, it seems hard-hitting. It's a little chunky, but I am excited about this one. Let's get the next stack. Next is I Hate Men, and this is an essay just about hating men, I guess. I mean, sounds right up my alley. Next is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page, and this is the first book in a duology about a society of witches at college. I think it's like a sorority in college, and they're like witches, and it sounds really good. It's really fun. I also bought this for my mom to read with me, and my mom has been like begging me to read these, so definitely need to read this one soon. Next is Dark Corners by Megan Golden, and this is the second book in the Rachel Kroll series, with the first one being The Night Swim. And in this book, we are following Rachel Kroll as she is working on a second season of her podcast, and she's following a new case. I really, really love The Night Swim. I've read that book genuinely like 3 or 4 times. It's such a good one. Next is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Yes, I have not read this book. Why? I don't know. I will be interested because the last Emily Henry book that I read was Happy Place, and I did not love that. I thought it was really sad and emotional, and like, I don't know. It was hard to read because of how realistic and how emotional it was, and it just was very relatable. As someone who has like been in a relationship where it kind of ended and you're just kind of like left hanging, like what happened, what did I do? It was very hard to read. So I'm hoping this one is a little bit less hard to read and a little bit more enjoyable. Next, we have Fair Play, and this is a nonfiction book kind of about marriage and just like, it's about marriage, and it says a game-changing solution for when you have too much to do and more life to live. So this is I think it's about kind of just like splitting the responsibilities in a family and kind of conquering those like traditional gender norms and those traditional gender roles that are expected of women in a marriage and a relationship. Next, I have My Body, and I'm not going to try to say this name. I don't know how to say it, but this is a model, and it is just a memoir she wrote about her body, and I think some of probably like the mental and physical like abuse she's gone through over the years. I have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is a Friends to Lovers book, and I've heard nothing but good things. Also, this cover is literally so cute. I bought this book just because I loved the cover, and then I started hearing how great this book is. I would love to read this. And then the last two books I do not have physically with me right this moment, but the first one is The Wishing Spell, which is the first book in the Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. And if you don't know, Chris Colfer was Kurt in Glee, and I absolutely loved Glee when I was in high school. I have not actually ever finished the series, but I've watched seasons 1 through 3 so many times. I love Glee, but this book is a middle grade book. It is a fantasy, and I'm interested to see what it's about. I know it's a whole long series. And then the last book that I have is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This is a magical realism book, and it sounds very wonderful, very spectacular. I know a lot of people love Adrienne Young books, and I'm very excited to read this one. So those are all of the books that I have on my end of the year TBR. Please let me know which ones you've read, which ones you recommend me pick up sooner rather than later, and let me know if you think that I can read all these books before the end of the year. If you like this video, give it a like. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Love you.